Epictetus said the essence of the philosophy is that we should live so that our happiness depends on as little as possible on external causes. We usually look for the evidence that confirm our already established belief rather than looking for the evidence that are opposing it, and that can often lead to misinformation. Two from Jordan Peterson when he was on H3 podcast. Your life is a repetition of days. It's really important to make days right and then repeat them. You have to fight like a junkyard dog for your own time because other people are constantly taking it away from you. There goes a saying that what is unseen is more real than what is seen. It's all about the energy, about the vibe. The easiest way to learn is through imitation, and if that is a language, the fastest way to learn it would be just listening others and talking yourself. Our face is able to produce over 10,000 different facial expressions, but is also the most manipulated part of the body because we are taught to control it from a very young age. If you want to go somewhere, the best thing to do is to find someone who has already been there. We are often all wrong, usually because we only see our side of the story, and the scary thing is that we think that we are right. What I'm trying to say is critical thinking is important. Right after a handshake, slightly move backwards, and if the other person moves forward, that means that he or she likes you. If he or she slightly move backwards, it's the opposite effect. Don't be so high and mighty that you don't take advantage of the humble opportunities that are granted to you. A piece of advice Jordan Peterson would give a 16-year-old self. Thinking you're the smartest person in the room just proves that you're not. Argue like you're right and listen like you're wrong. Shift your perspective. One of the oldest but still very important investments is investment in real estate because the space we have is limited but the number of people is keep rising. That's from Joe Rogan's podcast. Loneliness is more harmful to your health than smoking or obesity. And that one's from Gary Vee. Life is a game of poker, everyone's got a hand. It's time to go all in on you. Another one from Joe Rogan's podcast. Aspire to be the person you pretend to be when you're trying to get laid. If you could be that person all the time, you would have much better life. If you have an idea, capture it, write it down or something. You never know when a simple idea can turn into something great. You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. Different genes are activated in man's sperm if a man is lean or obese. Are you looking for positive or negative things around you? Because what you're looking for, you find. If I would sweeten my drink, I would use stevia, said Dr. Rhonda Patrick, but overusing it still doesn't make it healthy. If we want to live a happy and peaceful life, we must let go of comparing mind. Emotional pain lights up the same sensors in our brain as the physical pain. Kinda scary if you think about it. There are three ways you can do it. Either you were born with it, whatever you're afraid of, attack it, do it right away, or surround yourself with people who lift you up. Don't fall into the entitlement trap of feeling like a victim because you're not. Life is not easy, it never was, and it never will be. It's just as important where we are not as where we are. Don't let people mess around with what you find compelling anymore that is absolutely necessary because it's very dangerous. And one from Tony Robbins: focus equals power. Leaders focus on what they have, what they want, and what they can control. Fourth industrial revolution will probably completely change the way we live and disconnect us from each other even more. One of the advantages of telling the truth is that you don't have to remember what you said. Anything you let win, it grows stronger, and anything you let defeated, it shrinks. Don't practice what you don't want to become. Success usually comes to those who are too busy to be looking for it. Pearson said, life isn't a game, it's the set of games, and the rule is never sacrifice a victory across set of games for a victory in one game. Before you go to bed, write down one thing that if you accomplish tomorrow would make the entire day a win. If you would pay attention to what captures your interest and you follow that, that means that you'll always be interested in what you're doing. Courage is the ability to go from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. By three methods we may learn wisdom: first by reflection, second by imitation, and third by experience, which is the bitterest. Knowledge of the day: fight the evil within yourself rather than the evil in others. He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow.